Welcome. I am Crime Queen. If you are joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we actualize self-full love for growth, for development, for sharing, for nurturing, and of course for being harmoniously in tune with each other. This we are sharing this place. Why don't we do it harmoniously? Of course. All right. So I'm continuing my journey here on YouTube with understanding the scriptures. So I have looked at the first verse of the Bible, and of course, I have done quite a lot emphasizing the first word, which is in, which equals five. Numerically speaking, and I've looked at the fifth word, which is created. Created, of course, did exactly what we know it to do. It evolved, it had different shapes, it had different scents and angles. So um, it's just amazing how the words really come alive. They come alive because they are part of our makeup. So, of course, it is the first master number as well, number 11. So it had really it's the sort of word that we have looked at. I think I try to look at it objectively because it's 11, seeing the left and the right. And so there were no real reasons to be otherwise anyway. But somehow I was a little bit surprised because I think when we just look at the Bible, we just have this notion it's a spiritual book. And yes, we know that great businesses are done on the principles of the Bible. That's no news at all. But we would imagine, especially from the first chapter, you think about something that has a sort of spiritual flair about it. And I wasn't seeing that from the numerous words that came out of the word created, apart from the fact that it was very strongly related to the sacrifice or the Last Supper. We could say the Last Supper. We can see that connection right there. We could also say that it was a work or it is a work of art. And so we could say that God is really the great architect that we have learned him to be because or her to be, because that is what is also coming out from what we have been examining, and the her in this sense, if we want to put gender in context here, we are talking about Mother Eve. Okay, I'm glad I'm just able to say that now because this is what I am seeing from the scriptures. And there is a thing that we seem to have a tendency, because we have been conditioned a certain way, that we ought to be mindful that we do not want to tread on other people's toes. That's a word that was in the word created. Okay, so we have touched on many facets of this scripture verse, and I would like to now look at the verse or the second verse that says, yeah, that speaks about, and the earth was without form and void. Let's look at the first verse here. The earth was without form. So we have spoken a lot about the earth. So we know the earth, EARTH. We have done the numerical values for that, which is 51928. And when we add this is 25. So 25, 25 equals 7. So the numerical value for Earth, which is synonymous with Earth, is 7. So there it was as well. We saw how that 7 seemed to have been what God saw. The number 7 in itself would have been what God saw. And it's no wonder, having said that, the image of the W just came to mind. So this is 7 at whatever angle we want to see it. This is 7. And it's no wonder this is what God saw. So the W, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So W here now, that indicates the double soul, or the two sevens rather, is symbolic of the vibration when things are coming together. It's coming together. That is the E. So whether it was like this, that's the E, that's the M, that's the E, this is 3, and this is the W that creates the flower. So that's what we are saying. This is the 7 that I'm believing. This is very symbolic of the double sevens, meaning the two gods of Genesis of chapter 1. So basically, that's what I'm talking about, two gods. Now, people have associated the two gods with God. Isn't it amazing? With God and Christ, forgetting that there is a feminine or a mother who is called the waters, WATERS, which is 512 591, and when we add this together, this is 18, this is 10, 18, 23. 2 3, which equals like 32 for Christ, and 5, well, 2 plus, so this is 5, and we have got a long list of words that really equals 5. Even the breath, when it says, and God breathes, the word breath in itself, the word breath is 5. So we can say that is the energy of Eve that gives life. Life equals 5. Christ equals 5. Eve equals 5. So there we are talking about the two gods who created the heavens and the earth. It would seem like um, Eve has not been acknowledged in that scripture verse of Genesis of chapter 1 as a goddess or as the feminine god that was there, that is the waters which would be that which God called great creature out of the waters, abundantly out of the waters. So there we are, with the notion that we need to be dealing with two, of course, in our minds, we are dealing with two male figures instead of having a male and female as a symbol of balance, as a symbol of feminine and masculine, as a symbol of polarities, as a symbol of angles coming together. This is just symbolic. We understand that. And we understand that we all have both feminine and masculine hormones and tendencies or whatever it is, but we are talking as on a vibrational level. That's what we are talking about. Okay, so and the earth was without form, it was without. So first of all, in the second verse of the second verse, and I like that. I think it does say and. Let's just, because and is very, very important here as well. Yes, let's just do this. Yes, and the earth. Okay. So the word and is always saying, denoting add. So and, which is 154. So this is 10. There we see 10 here is really telling us very clearly, as we have seen, for instance, that 10 is the tongue, and 10 is man, 10 is heaven. When it said, so we have the first line, which is, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. and then we say, and the earth was without form and void. So there we are. So the first verse was 10 words. So we see how 10 is repeated or is anchored on the word, um, and is the vibration. It holds the vibration of the first verse by anchoring directly on that. This is what I believe Emmett Fox means. Nothing will come into your consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which to attach itself to. Meaning the two things have to have the same vibrational frequency to make it, they have to meet each other on the same vibration. So there we have, and we see on the second verse, meaning the 10 in the first verse here and 10 here on the second verse. If we were to add this together, that would give us 2, which is reflected in the second verse of the Bible. And the earth, meaning here we are talking was without. So it was without. Without. We won't be writing every word, no, but without form. We just want to get the essence of this. It was without form and then there is another 10, another add. Anytime we see that and, that's what we are doing. We are adding vibration every time we say and. We are starting a new cycle, we could say. There is not a full stop of we add this. It's added. Okay. And void. VOID. So basically, without, meaning it has taken our attention external. That's what I find very fascinating, that we have learned this story, and we have emphasize the point of Eve in the garden. This is where the sin had been committed. That's what we have been taught. The emphasis has been there. We have not been taught of what was within. There was emphasis without. So we are conditioned to look without, but not within. And that is amazing in a sense that the Bible would really start the first word with in. So basically, there is, of course, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with. So, was with God. So basically, we have the first word and the ninth word. This is delicious. The first word and the ninth word. This is the ninth word. So we have the reverse of the template that we have been working on. So the template, in essence, is giving us a structure, how to look within. I love this. I love this. There we are. So the first verse, as I say, I'm just repeating to just getting the gist of this. The first verse consists of 10 words. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So the heaven and the earth, yes. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That is the heaven and the earth. So this is it. The vibration, the word with is not really the ninth word, it's the which is 6. But it holds that same vibration. The word the and the word with has the same vibration. The and with. It's really number 6. So let's do this. It's good that I'm repeating this. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? So here we are talking about, and the earth was with. So here we have without. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 words. On the 5th word, which is again, there's the 5th, showing, or it's sort of representing or meant to, I don't know if it's meant to represent Eve, but I'm looking at not the 5th word in the sense of seeing what it can provide us. So let's look at the numerical value for that. So I know that with is 6 and out is OUT, that's 9, 10, 11 is 2. So without is really 8. Without. And only now, this is what I mean about numerology. It does give me a nice sense of understanding. Because the word without, it's that it's with and it's out. So that's the dilemma. Of course, we just think there's an absence. It's without. There's a total absence of something. But yes, I can understand that too, because 8 is a whole. It represents a whole. But that's that twist. That is that word that offers a form of confusion, if you like. So the earth was with and out form, without, without form. So basically, we would not have considered this as a form or with and out form. So this is the thing we have been taught. So without form, and now in my understanding and looking at this, it is really telling me there's a circle that is with and it's also out. This is what I am getting right here. And it's that form. And in the word form, I am believing that it is indicative of telling, it's really telling what that form is, the O. FO, the O is really saying that was what was in and that is what is out. And void. We have, so the 2 words here is really, it's the thing my mind is inclined to think, well, what you're talking is not really making much sense, but then I am seeing it right here because it's without form, there is an O here, and it's without void, there is another O here, and the word without equals it, meaning there are 2 O's here. So that's what it's with form, it's with void. There is the opposite. It's with, well, it's as if there's the mirror aspect of that. It's with form or it's out form. It's with void and it's out void. So that is the thing. So basically we can say it just means 2 noughts or 2 zeros, or this is another thing in our language. We have come to learn that naught means nothing. There's no significance to it, or it's non-existence in some way. Okay, so that makes more sense to me. So basically, we can see how it would mean that there were 2 gods again, or there were 2 things to work on, or 2 voids, or 2 forms, or 2. We can see how 2 from the second verse has been apparent right here in form and void. Now let's do the numerical value for And of course, going back to within, um, before I go any further, let's also do the numerical value for the word within. Yes, um, which I think, let's see, have I done this? Because I've got the ninth and the first, of course, it's 9, so it's 10. In, let's do this. First, I'm not quite clear on, so in is 5, because I have done in several times. Okay, because this is 9 and this is 5, and when we add this together, of course, it's 14. 14 is 5, and this is 6. Okay, so 5 and 6 is 11. This is what we were saying. So 11. So 11 within. The word within is on the same vibration as the word created. So basically, whatever was within, whatever God created was from within. It mirrored within. That is it. So within, this is the thing, this is the thing. It would seem like when God called the great creature out of the waters, out of the waters, that which had life, of course, we can see that there was something within. And we can see from the previous presentations I've done with the numerical value for the word 9, N-I, let's do this, N-I-N-E, 5955. When we add this together, this is 1926. Well, it's not, sorry, this is 26, 24, this would be 6. This is okay, but I really want to do the numerical value for the word 11. That just reminds me. 11, E-L-E-V-E-N. This is 554535. So when we add these together, that's 14, 19, 22, and 527. So 2 plus 7 is 9. 911. That's really what I have done. So within, this is in direct correlation. Everything that was from within is really reflected without. So that here we are saying, in essence, whatever was within Eve was what God created, what God replicated. I say replicated because God, of course, we can see the emphasis. The earth was with an out form, and it would say when God called light, which is also 11, that light was in the darkness, it was in the deep, so light had already existed. There we see, even with 11, that would mean 9 would be everything that consists of 9, the whole of everything. The word whole is a numerical value of 9. So the whole, whether we see it as W-H-O-L-E or H-O-L-E, however we want to perceive it in our minds, but that equals 9. That is W-H-O-L-E, of course. So we can see, for instance, that by just examining these two words here or without in particular, that we have addressed the wholeness. We have addressed what looks void. There was some form of void, meaning the word form. When we say it's without, that means it existed to make reference to it. There we are. Okay. So within is Within is 5. No, within is, let's see, just really want to remember that. Within is 5 and 2, 5 and 6, 11. So within is 11. That is the master number. Within is 11. So when we add 1 and 1 together, that becomes 2. So with and in, with and out. So these are the two things that I feel we need to be concentrating on. But we can see from the first word of the Bible where this in is, that gives us, that represents key for how, because Eve is key. So basically, we could say that the earth was without form and void, and with 5, with Eve, with Christ. So it was with, because that's what 5 is. It was with lock. It was with open. There was an opening. So it was with open. It was with lock. It was with anchor. It was, anchor is 5. So when we're talking about water, the waters is 5. So we are seeing that that is the representation here of Mother Eve. Okay, so I'm thinking of making a short presentation, but not. So I'm hoping that we getting the gist of where and how we can focus from without and within. So basically, the number 11 for within is really giving us the perspective of our image, our W, like I started with this presentation, the two sevens, the W coming back home. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found it insightful somehow. If you like this presentation, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing self-full love. Stay blessed, stay bright, be a field, be ignited, because we are planting new seeds and spill over with love. Delicious.